Hey guys, Jules here from Behind the Cork for another edition, episode 33 of What's in Your Glass Weekend Wine. This weekend, weather's getting hot. I figured let's come out with a beautiful barbecue wine. This is not your ordinary barbecue wine. This is going to be luscious, thick, juicy. A little bit on the pricey side. However, this wine is going to amaze, and I want to talk to you a little bit about it, where it's from, a little bit of the differences in some of the more common brand names that you'll find out there, so that you understand the differences, and hopefully you guys can enjoy that this weekend. But definitely a barbecue wine. So let's get right into it. First off, California Cabernet Sauvignon. This is what I love. This is like probably one of my favorite grape varieties from the region. It just produces some, depending on the winery, depending on the region, just spectacular Cabernet Sauvignons coming from California. This is no exception. What do we have here? We have Lohr Hilltop from Paso Robles. If you guys have a chance to, if anybody's been to Napa Valley, please rent a vehicle, drive down the coast and go through Paso Robles. You're gonna have to go out to the coast from the main highway, or you can drive along the coast. It's beautiful scenery. It's one of the most spectacular ride you're ever gonna have through the wineries. Stop by the winery, stop by this winery. Paso Robles is just an incredible, it's just inland of the ocean. Extreme, just think slightly rolling hills, very, very hot. The year I went, it was just so dry. You can just see hay or yellow burnt grass everywhere. It's just so hot. What's spectacular about this wine? So everybody's heard of Lohr. They produce Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and other varieties. Their typical, wine that most people have drunk today is the Lohr Cabernet Sauvignon. It's very fruity, very nice, good acidity. It's easy to drink, crowd pleaser, likely $15-20 Canadian. Very easy. This, however, is not that. This is their flagship wine. The wines and the vines and the grapes here are grown in certain vineyards that are basically just strained because of the temperature, because of the irrigation, because of the hot weather. The days can be 100 degrees Fahrenheit. The cool ocean breeze is why I love California and Napa Valley. The cool ocean breeze changes the temperature dramatically. So in the day you have this beautiful ripening, and at night you have this beautiful cooling that keeps the acidity in the grapes. And with the kind of strained irrigation, limited water, the vines really stretch. The roots really go down and they really get the best. So the grapes are very, very thick. So as you can see here, if you guys can see that, this wine is extremely thick, cannot see through it. It's one of those wines that will coat your teeth and make them purple. However, it's just beautiful. It's just luscious. And again, it's their flagship wines. This one in particular is $50 Canadian. In my opinion, worth every dollar. If you're going to have a barbecue this weekend, if you're doing anything, pretty much, even if you're doing salmon steaks on the barbecue, this is a crowd pleaser. This can be easily drunk on its own. It's just gorgeous, rich. We're gonna get right into it. I'll taste it right now. But a definite good choice to have in your cellar. Easily can age 8 to 12 years, 15 years. This one in particular is 2017, so it's really, really early. I've had some, back 2011, 2010, and they keep extremely well. They actually mature so nicely. So if you get a chance, maybe keep one in the cellar and drink one, or two in the cellar and drink one. Definitely do that, because this is one that can be aged. So let's get right into it. So at first, again, the color, very, very thick. What gets me is the aroma. So it's just beautiful, cedar, and it's gonna follow, like, you're just gonna get this amazing aroma of dark fruit and cedar. It's just so inviting. You want to get some air in there, and it just opens up, and it just like the dark currant, the black currant. It's very jammy. So we talk about, you know, wines that make your lips smack. This is the wine. The oak is very pronounced. Tannins are medium, so it's not overwhelming. You're not going to get, oh, I don't like that. But what's coming retronasally, the aromas, once you swallow, you actually get the beautiful cedar. So if anybody likes the smell of cedar, or think of a sauna, right? If you love that cedar smell, this is your wine. So definitely something. And the acidity is really nice. As you can hear, I'm still kind of swallowing because the acidity is causing my mouth to water, and those aromas are still lingering here, right? So after a minute, it's still just beautiful. But I mean, it's just, I mean, you have to just appreciate this beautiful wine. It's probably about 90, when I checked, they're 93% Cabernet Sauvignon. So it's always a little bit of a blend, Petit Verdot and then Malbec in there. So just to kind of balance it out. And I love when they introduce other grape varieties, and it could be because, you know, they want to introduce a different acidity or different flavors or different tannins or different structure to the wine, is why they typically blend, and the winemakers will typically give that right formula to produce, depending on the year, of course, right? Depending on how the grapes, depending on how well that season was, how well in this case was 2017. Those variations may differ, percentages may differ a little bit, but I mean, the majority of this is Cabernet Sauvignon, grown from very, very warm climates, and when that happens, the juice is thick. The grapes, it's really, really thick juice, and sugar levels are just beautiful. This one in particular, 14.9% alcohol, so it's a powerhouse. It's right up there. I mean, I think Amarone is probably 15%. So this is a kicker. Like I said, and it's gonna go very, very well with heavy protein barbecue or having burgers tomorrow. This is going to go extremely well. I've tried it in the past. No matter what you put on your burger, this thing will just shine. So hopefully you guys like that for this weekend. Source it out. It's available everywhere. If you want to have, if you guys like the J. Lohr, the standard Cabernet Sauvignon, those are really good too, right? They're very, very much more fruit forward. Much more pleasant, easier to drink, not as many tannins, not long, like aged as long. Some of the flagship wines, and we'll be curious as well is compare the two, right? So you have this wine here, and then you have the J. Lohr standard Cabernet Sauvignon, and you can easily, I mean, just by smelling them, you're going to be able to tell the difference between one in a blind test. So, but if you're going to do that, please don't start with this and then go down and then serve the J. Lohr standard. It's always a mistake to go downwards when you're talking about wine. What you want to do, especially with red wine, you want to start with the easier, the less aged, the maybe not as refined, not as aged, and then work your way up to the big powerhouses. Because if you do the opposite, your guests will be disappointed in anything you offer below this wine, right? So you want to always be aware, and usually what I do is before supper, I'll take out the regular J. Lohr, fruity, people love it, they have the charcuterie board, and then as you go to the main dish on supper, you bring out the powerhouse. If you're going to serve white wine at the same time, just as an example, start with your whites, then go to your reds. Never go the opposite, because your mouth will basically be coated with the red wine, and it'll stay there, and it'll make your white wine taste bitter, astringent, and all these other flavors that you don't want. So if you're going to do that, you do white, and then you go up to red. That's it. Hopefully you guys like that for this weekend. Let me know what you think. If you like this episode, please follow. There's many, many more. Well, that's it. Jules here from Behind the Cork. Cheers. Have a good weekend.